you are safe and fine at home. Are you taking enough precautions against coronavirus? Please do it. Actually, what a lot of change have been occurred because of this COVID-19. Everything, our lifestyle changed. It affected us a lot. Our study methods, working practices, our routine changed. Going out or eating out, visiting relatives, parks, watching movies in theaters, everything stopped. Changes are like that. Sometimes it is inevitable. We cannot avoid it. But what we can do is just to adapt to it. That is what we are doing now. We are learning online. Here our class in chemistry begins with a topic just related to changes itself. It is taken from lesson 6 in your textbook with the same name, physical and chemical changes. Actually, it is a classification of changes into physical and chemical category. And changes are not new to you because you have been learning about changes from smaller classes onwards. Do you remember you learnt a type of change, other class of change called reversible and irreversible in standard 6? And you have learnt the basics of physical and chemical changes in class 5. Now we are going deeply into this topic, physical and chemical changes. Of course, before that, let me ask you, can you recollect a few changes that has been occurred that you noticed recently? There are different sort of changes, of course. Some kind of that is very slow changes, very fast changes like explosion and bursting, and reversible and irreversible kind, and physical and chemical change what we are going to learn. Anyway, just remember about some changes and please note it down in a notebook. I guess some may mention about the seasonal changes or the weather changes. That is, yesterday it was raining, today it is not, a change. Yesterday night it was so cold and today not. It is bright sunlight outside, a change. Some other way may mention about the change in the color of leaves from green to yellow, or the seasonal ripening of fruits. Okay, fine. Did you notice about any change in size and shape of objects? That means you are spending time, most of the time at home. You may be playing with paper to make shapes. So in that, you may be folding the paper, cutting or tearing the paper to make shapes. But the paper remains paper itself even after you make it. The shape and size changed there. If you broke a pencil or scale, if you cut an eraser into pieces, what changed? It is actually change in its size and shape alone. If you dropped a glass, it broke. Same thing. When your mother chops vegetables for cooking, the size and shape changes, but the quality does not change. These type of changes are happening when you stitch a cloth piece, when you bite a piece of carrot. The size and shape changes, but the substance remains the same. You know, a log of wood, if it is big, it is not easy to catch fire. So what we do is cutting it into pieces. Same log of wood, but it is easy to catch fire. Here, same thing, size and shape changes. Okay, someone might notice the color change in something. Like you may be painting or drawing daytime. So you may mix colors to make a new thing. Sometimes you may experiment with your mother to make new dishes. You may add turmeric in curries, or even just turmeric, add in a little water. It makes the color of the liquid. Otherwise, if you cut a piece of apple or a potato and keep it aside for some time, you can notice gradually the color changes. And somewhere the green mango changed into yellow or orange mango color. So these color changes also one can notice. But think about, if you burn a piece of paper, or if someone burns the waste rubbish outside, what happens there? The substance, whatever it is, paper, cloth or dry leaves, it burns and leaving a little ash. The substance totally changes. You may notice the smoke spreading in the air and the smell of burning around, and substance changed into something else called ash. Okay, and another case, when your mother cook food, the substance changes in its color, taste and smell. Some good smell of flavor, we may say. There also the quality of the substance changes when she boils eggs, boil vegetables, making cakes, making curd. The taste and the appearance both changes. And another thing which produces the change in smell. See, if you collect a bunch of fresh flowers from your garden, it may be nice smelling at that time, but after a day, will it be producing that nice smell? No. It may fade, the color change and make a smell change also, which is not good enough. When something rots, vegetables, fruits, etc. rots or decays, the same kind of change in color and its smell, it started decays and rots, making a permanent kind of change in that, and total substance changes to something else. Somewhere the change is only in its size and shape, somewhere the total change in the substance. Okay, if someone else noticed change in position of an object, that is, something was there on your table till now and means a little while ago and now it is not there, you are searching for that and find it somewhere else. Or if you are moving or shifting from one room to another, if you are traveling from one place to another, if vehicle moves, if animals move, birds fly, or even water flows in river, the change is actually the substance changes its position from one place to another. There, nothing basically happens to that. No change in quality or stuff. No change in appearance too. It changes its position. And if you notice a change in state of matter, familiar? That is, you wanted to eat ice cream. If you're keeping it outside for 5 to 10 minutes, what will happen? You know, it start melting. From solid state, it changes to liquid state. Still it is ice cream. You will not leave it. Like ice melts. When water boils, that is, water evaporates to vapor state. From ice, it melts to liquid. From liquid, it changes to water vapor. In this cycle, the substance is the same H2O, water itself, but the state changes from one to another. Here, in these kind of changes, we can divide these changes into two groups. In one, you are watching some of the changes we discussed, and in the next, another kind of changes are listed. We are going to learn the difference in these. They are classified in different category. These are chemical changes and the previous one are physical changes. So let us begin from here. See, you can notice this is the picture of cutting of wood. In cutting of wood, in carving of wood, the wood is changing into pieces or in other shape. Actually, the quality of the substance is not changing. This is wood itself, but its shape and size changes. Notice that the shape and size alone changes. See here the child is making designs or patterns using paper. For that, they may fold the paper, they may tear the paper, they may cut the paper and make patterns. There, the pattern looks different from the paper, but the stuff is same itself. We will say that it is made of paper. Here the water boils, here the ice melts, but the content is same, water itself. You see, ice cream melts. And see here the vegetables are chopped. What is the change? The vegetable changes into small pieces and carrot remains carrot itself and tomato remains tomato itself. No change in its quality, no interchange of qualities. They belong to their same class but their size and shape changes. These type of changes in which the change occurs in their size, shape, sometimes their color or state of matter are grouped and termed as physical changes, because physical properties are their physical properties are their size, shape and color, their state of matter. So, if the change affects only the physical properties, we call them physical changes. So, change in which a substance undergoes a change in its physical properties are called physical changes, and these are the physical properties of a substance, their shape, size, color and state of matter. Now see the next one, categorized under chemical changes. See what are they? As I told earlier, burning of anything, a paper, even a house or a car, whatever it is, burning, produce a permanent change and produce total change in that substance. So what is remained will be ash or some useless items. See here the paper changes to ash. In cooking, we see the vegetables changes their color slightly and the smell and the taste. So a permanent change as well as a total change in the quality of the substance. Here the egg is tasting different and its structure also is different. Here the mix is made for making cake, and if we wait for the batter to get ready, some chemical changes are occurring in it, and that change in the flavor or the texture or the taste is categorized under chemical change. Here the same thing, rotting of vegetables. You know, when vegetables rot, it is not giving us the same quality of substance, it's the same smell changes, it is not useful and we will just throw them away. So these changes are coming under the category of chemical change. So burning, cooking and rotting. See, this is digestion. There also we are eating vegetables, fruits and many other things, but after digestion the components changes to something else, to nutrients. And here by mixing also we can make changes somewhere. Simply if we are mixing some things together like in a mixture, there may not be a chemical change because physically they are just getting mixed up and no chemical reactions or chemical changes happening in between the components. There it may not be a chemical change. When we are making salads, we are placing different pieces of vegetables together. They are placing together, they are not changing their qualities by mixing. Physical component only, the presence is different. We can arrange them in different way. That is the only change happening. So that is the physical change. So mixing always make chemical change, that we cannot say. Sometimes it may be physical, sometimes chemical. We have to think how the substance is affected by the change. See this is a Rubik's cube, it is familiar to you. There are different colors on the different sides I can arrange them in different way. The colors are changing, the pattern is changing. What change is occurring? The place of the cube, the color changes, but chemically the substance is the same. This is only a physical change. Similarly, mixing of certain things, like if you are adding turmeric in water, the component, the turmeric pieces are mixing with, or the powder is getting mixed with water molecules, that's all giving a coloration to the liquid, but they are not reacting with each other, no chemical changes occurred. But there are chemical changes by mixing of chemical components in the labs that we will learn just after this. And this is another example of a chemical change. Firecrackers, bursting of crackers. See here, you can notice the sound, the fine colors, and you will love it. There, the smell changes, the color changes, sound is produced, light is produced, smoke also is produced. A lot of change happening to the substance which is bursting, a total change. So when a substance totally changes to something else, or if one or more new substances are formed after this change, they are classified under the group of chemical changes. See this? Chemical changes makes change in chemical nature of the substance, chemical qualities of the substance, and one or more new substance may be formed with it. These kind of changes are called chemical changes. So if we think about what all things we have learned, we just learned the changes to classify into two groups, one physical change, one is chemical change. So we decide whether a change is physical or chemical according to how the change affects the substance, whether physically or chemically. If the change affects a substance size, shape, color or state of matter, broadly it will come under the category of physical change. Or if the substance changes its quality totally and becoming another substance, or some new components are formed, new substances are formed, light is produced, sound is produced, some kind of smell is produced, some gases are coming out, they are coming under the category of chemical changes. That is why folding of paper is simply makes a change in the shape of paper and no change in its quality, but when you burn a paper, quality changes, it is coming under chemical change. If you chop vegetables, size and shape alone changes, but if you cook vegetables or if you eat and after digestion, these are making chemical changes to that substance. So when substances decays, it is a chemical change, but when state of matter changes, the substance remain the same, like butter melts, ice melts, ice cream melts. The state of matter alone change, that comes under the category of physical change. If you broke a pencil, see, here I have two pencils, one is long and short. If you start writing with this pencil, with a few days, it will become a shorter like this. The purpose is same, it can serve for the same purpose. It is pencil again, but the length reduced, it shortened. These kind of changes are only physical change. If I compress this soft cushion, the shape changes, but quality does not change. Another example, I have a few balloons. See, you know, it is made of rubber, a stretching material. You can blow it to big in size. That size change is only physically, you know. Another thing is, I can arrange them in any pattern. Any pattern. If wherever they are changing their positions, placing, but no change in their qualities. So these are normally physical changes. Burning, cooking, digestion, etc. are considered chemical changes. By mixing, we can make both changes. Some changes may be physical. We have to consider whether they are placed among, like if you are mixing different colored marbles together, They are not mixing like that, just placing among one another in different places. They are physical changes. But when you add vinegar in baking soda, there is some chemical changes that we will learn in the next session. So, got an idea about what is a physical and chemical change? Will you know how to classify them in different groups? So, we will continue with the remaining experiments in the next session, in the next class. Until then, thank you for watching this.